Welcome to Utah Tonight, Utah's #1 garage-based news show. I'm your host, Michael Jolly. In tonight's show, we'll talk about masks, who's wearing them and why. We'll look at some frog leg recipes, and we'll finally take a look at the 1st and 4th Congressional District primaries, so let's get to it. Spencer Cox wants you to wear a darn mask. In a long Twitter thread, Utah's Lieutenant Governor pleaded with Utahns to wear a mask to protect others and slow the spread of COVID-19 in the state. He compared mask wearing to Moses' brass serpent in the wilderness, and he ended the thread with a photo of himself on his farm wearing this stylish, delicate arch mask. And just in case the LG's Twitter thread wasn't inspiring enough for you, here's a list of famous people throughout history who have worn masks. First off, Spider-Man. Now this is a very effective mask, full face coverage. Next is Darth Vader. Vader's N999 mask is 99.9% effective at preventing the spread of the virus. And then you have Jason, another mask wearer. The Lone Ranger wore a mask. I don't think that really helps stop the spread of the virus, but I give him points for effort. Now Bane, he had a great mask. He kind of has a bad rap as a villain, but one thing is for sure, he was always careful about not passing his germs to others. And of course, the Dread Pirate Roberts. Again, not effective at stopping the spread of coronavirus, so probably don't buy one of those. From KSL.com comes this story about a Utah resident who signed up for a free mask from the state's Mask for Every Utahn website. Well, 2 months later, she received her mask, and this is the mask she received. In her own words on Twitter, Christine, who received this mask, said, "Utah taxpayers are paying for politically charged militia masks to be sent to residents? Not appropriate." State leaders said that out of the 1.8 million masks made for the program, there were about 150 masks that had to be removed for being inappropriate in one way or another. I was able to get my hands on some of those designs, and I thought I'd share them with you. First off, there's this Trump 2020 mask, which I can understand why some people would be offended by that. Then there's this one of Barack Obama silently judging you. And of course, this Smash the Patriarchy mask. The patriarchy was especially offended by that one. But most offensive of all was this one. The Utah Division of Wildlife Resources wants you to catch and cook bullfrogs. This is 100% real. Bullfrogs are an invasive species and are found in many marshes and ponds throughout Utah. DWR posted a blog with tips on how to catch the bullfrogs, as well as recipes for cooking them. Delicious. I guess the way 2020 is going, it's probably not a bad idea to have an alternative meat source. Governor Herbert signed an executive order mandating the wearing of masks in state buildings. You know, state buildings like the Capitol, where this photo was recently taken.
Smash the patriarchy.
This week in weird political campaign content comes this video from the sons of Lieutenant Governor candidate Michelle Kafusi. As daily COVID-19 cases were spiking in the state, our state's COVID-19 task force decided it was a great time to disband. This is 100% real. In an email obtained by Utah Policy, an executive assistant to Lieutenant Governor Cox sent an email to task force members saying the task force would stop meeting weekly and would instead meet on an as-needed basis because they wanted to alleviate task force members from this weekly calendar commitment and return this time to you. I mean, sure, things are worse than ever for COVID-19 in the state, but we want to make sure you have plenty of time to weed your garden or take your family to Lagoon or, campaign for governor. I've spent a lot of time talking about the governor's race, but we have other big races in Utah, like the 1st and 4th Congressional District Republican primaries. So I thought I would do you all a favor and give you a rundown on the candidates based on my 30 seconds of research. So buckle up, here's your rundown of 1st District candidates. Utah's first congressional district was represented by Rob Bishop since 2003, but is now an open seat as Bishop has decided not to run again. The district covers northern Utah down into Davis County and over into Summit, Daggett, Duchesne, and Uinta counties. The Republican candidates running are Kerry Gibson, Blake Moore, Bob Stevenson, and Katie Witt. Gibson is a former state rep, county commissioner, and ag commissioner who opposes bovine abortion, loves wearing cowboy hats, and is pro-Trump. Blake Moore worked for the State Department, probably as a spy, and later the Cicero Group. He was a Wendy's Heisman Trophy winner in high school, and I can only assume loves junior bacon cheeseburgers, and like all politicians, he loves families, jobs, and the flag. Bob Stevenson has been a city councilor, mayor, and county commissioner. He loves children and the flag, but there's nothing on his website about Wendy's or junior bacon cheeseburgers. Katie Witt has been a city councilor and is currently mayor of Kaysville. She's pro-life, pro-gun, pro-Trump, pro-you, and is willing to lose an election just to see Colin Ray in concert. Next up, Utah's 4th District. The 4th District covers much of the west side of Salt Lake County down through the west side of Utah County, through Juab County and North Sanpete County. The district is currently represented by Democrat Ben McAdams. The Republicans running to unseat McAdams are Kim Coleman, Jay McFarland, Trent Christensen, and Burgess Owens. Kim Coleman has been a member of the Utah House since 2015. She loves charter schools, free speech, and jambalaya. And she once had to fight our legislature and governor to give Tesla the right to sell their cars in the state. Jay McFarland had a radio program on KSL until he decided to run for Congress. He says only a moderate like him can beat Democrat Ben McAdams, and he's really good at walking in slow motion. Trent Christensen calls himself Citizen Trent. Citizen Trent got a law degree from BYU and after practicing business law for years is now CEO of a venture capital nonprofit. He has great politician hair and has some funny campaign videos. Burgess Owens played 10 seasons in the NFL as a safety. He once returned a kickoff for a touchdown and he even has a Super Bowl ring. He used to work for WordPerfect. He loves Fox News and Fox News loves him. There you go. That's the rundown of Utah's 1st and 4th congressional district candidates. I know that was almost completely worthless. But let's be honest, if voters are getting their candidate info from a garage-based news show, then we have bigger problems. And back to the governor's race. I missed something from the Utah Debate Commission debate question and answer. When asked about the governor calling up the National Guard in response to protests, Spencer Cox had this to say.
And let me remind people, the National Guard is not the military. The National Guard, these are your neighbors. These are people who live here and volunteer their time to protect and serve.
Whew. It is good to know that the National Guard is basically just a glorified neighborhood watch program. And I would like to take a moment to thank them for their service. Big thank you to Lieutenant Kolowich for serving on the Iraq Neighborhood Watch, and to Lieutenant Nielsen for serving in the Afghanistan neighborhood. And of course, thank you to Karen for her service in Draper. But seriously, thanks to our National Guard men and women for their service to our state and country. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Utah Tonight, Utah's #1 garage-based news show. Be sure to like the Facebook page, subscribe on YouTube, and share this video with your friends. And tune in for a special election night live edition of Utah Tonight on Tuesday, June 30th at 9 p.m., where we'll have special guests talking about all the big races across the whole state. It's going to be a lot of fun. For Utah Tonight, I'm Michael Jolly.